This is an NBC News special report. Here's Willie Geist.
Good morning, I'm Willie Geist. We're back on the air now with news that police have a suspect in custody in connection with Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, that left 2 students dead, at least 9 others injured. Officials in Rhode Island, including Mayor Brett Smiley of Providence, holding a press conference with new details. Let's listen in.
The individuals who are recovering at Rhode Island Hospital. There remain 7 individuals in stable condition, 1 in critical but stable condition, and 1 has been discharged. Those are the 9 individuals injured yesterday. We talked yesterday multiple times about the tremendous cooperation and amount of law enforcement resources that were made available to us. And I want to offer my profound thanks to all the hardworking men and women in law enforcement who worked through the night to be able to get us to this point where we can confirm that there is a person of interest who has been detained. This is exactly the kind of collaboration that we train for and that we hope for. Our partnership with the FBI, with the state police, and obviously the heroic actions of the Providence police have brought us to this point, but it is with sincere gratitude that we have for our law enforcement partners who work so closely together, seamlessly, throughout the evening and into the morning. At this point, I'll ask Governor McKee to say a few words, and then we'll hear from the Colonel and from the FBI, and we'll take your questions. Governor.
Thanks, Mayor. And we're going to continue to have our thoughts with the families and the individuals that have been impacted by this horrific event. And we're standing again with Brown University, and of course the state of Rhode Island's resources will continue to be there, Mayor, as we proceed with the process. We'll continue to have our state police really on alert for everyone out there so that there's a sense of calmness in the state. And I would just repeat what I said last night, the fact that the state of Rhode Island is in shock, but they're really responding as communities that we all love, and that the communities that we are proud of, the fact that we live in a state that everybody comes together. So again, my thoughts are still centered on those individuals that have lost their lives, and I'm praying that the families will find the strength to be able to deal with this in a way that their lives are not disrupted as much as they probably will be. So we'll keep our state police out there. We'll continue to work with the City of Providence and, of course, Brown University to make sure that everything is being done possible so people feel as though that we're responding in a way to help those who've been impacted by this event. And we'll continue to stand with you as time goes on.
Thank you, Governor. Now we'll hear from Colonel Oscar Perez, Providence Police.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to be very limited with what I can share with you all this morning. Again, my condolences and thoughts and prayers with the families that were impacted by these actions. So, as the Mayor stated, we have detained someone of interest, but I respect and to protect the integrity of the investigation, I would only be limited in my details. The next process for us is what we do best, and our detectives is to coordinate with the prosecutors, to collect evidence, to conduct interviews, and then from there, we'll be able to, when it's appropriate and accurate, to share more details with you all. But I'm pleased to say that, as the Mayor stated, the collaboration between our federal partners, our different municipalities in the state, is all hands on deck. And, you know, when there's incidents in the city that shock the conscience, we know for a fact that we just step up. And the federal agents, our federal partners, I want to thank them for their assistance, but as well, every single municipality, the state police, and every other chief in the state. We came together as a small state. It impacted a lot of us, the incident that occurred. And so, again, I'm just happy to share with you that we're in the process now of coordinating with prosecution, conducting interviews, and being able to collect evidence so that we can protect the integrity of the investigation and that we can hold the individuals accountable for their actions. So.
Next, we'll hear from Ted Dox from the FBI, who was integral throughout the process, and especially early this morning.
No, hopefully for the families, the victims, this community, having these leaders and law enforcement up here, and really a community as a whole, came together within 24 hours. We talked about a timeline. Within 24 hours, we were able to have a subject of interest that's in custody. I will say that we could not do that without working seamlessly with our partners here. I tell you, not only the Rhode Island State Police, the Colonel has been great, HSI, DEA, also Rhode Island State Police as well. I mean, I tell you, just working with those partners, coming together in a way in which we should, literally not sleeping, working through the night to make sure that we can bring about some type of ease and calm to the community here. And so I just want to thank all the partners here, the leaders as well, because I tell you, they did not sleep either. And we were on the horn definitely gleefully when we got a person of interest there. And so that's what your FBI does. I tell you, I want to give a personal thanks to not only the investigators, also the intel, the professional support that have been working around the clock, headquarters. We have folks that are actually coming in right now to help work with the victims. But I tell you, that's what your FBI does, and that's what we do with our partners and leaders within the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. We'll take questions.
Was the person taken into custody last night or this morning?
He was detained earlier this morning.
You can tell us where and how it kind of went down.
I can't confirm that for you right now. Again, just to protect the integrity of this investigation, we're talking to the speaking with the Attorney General's office, and we'll be able to provide that at a later date.
Outside of Providence?
Again, I can't confirm that for you right now.
Unless we recover a weapon.
Again, it was just still part of the investigation. We're collecting evidence, and we'll continue to do so. But when appropriate and accurate, we'll be able to share that with you.
Can we ask President Paxton, can you step to the microphone for us? What would you want to say to the Brown community, the Brown families, the Brown alumni, folks who are watching right now?
Well, everybody is reeling, and we have a lot of recovery ahead of us. So my main goal in the coming days and weeks and months, it will take a long time, is to bring people back together and help them feel safe and secure on campus.
And the resources that you have on campus today, President?
We have, we pulled out all the stops. We have, religious life, student services, everybody we can just be there to support our community. And I do want to say our DPS has been great, but the law enforcement, the Providence Emergency Management Service team, people from the Nonviolence Institute have been on call. They've been amazing. So just incredible support from the community.
Madam President, can we confirm now that the shooting happened inside a final exam review for the principals of economics class?
That's my understanding, yes.
Is the person of interest affiliated with Brown in any way? Are they student, staff?
Again, I won't be able to confirm that for you right now. But again, we have somebody and we have detained them, and we'll conduct our investigation. Our detectives will do, and I'm very confident on what they're going to provide for us.
Are you looking for anybody else?
Not at this point, but again, we're still conducting our own investigations.
Can you just sort of walk us through, I recognize you're not going to be able to say very much, but between the 11 o'clock press conference last night and you didn't have somebody, what happened in the hour or however long it took? Like, was there a breakthrough? Can you give us anything on sort of how you got to?
So as our special agent from the FBI stated, it's all collaboration, it's cooperation, it's all hands on deck. We're picking up on any leads, any tips that come our way, and that's what we do. That's what this department has done for years. And so when some incidents or horrific incidents like this occur, we step up, and we ended up with the results of detaining someone of interest. And again, at a later day when we update you, we'll be able to provide you with the rest of the details, how we came about to stop that individual.
Did the video help at all?
Again, this all evidence that we collect, including the video and including all the items that we have, and again, tips. But I also like to commend the individuals and the citizens of this state. They come forward and provide, and law enforcement officers as well. There's a passion. It's what we do. We're fathers, and we really care. And so it doesn't matter if you're an officer in one point of the state or another. We all work together, and so that's what it comes about. So.
Did more tips come in after you released the video last night? How did that play into the investigation?
Correct. Yeah, it's all tips that we received. Detectives followed up on a lot of them, and again, all the resources, like the federal partners that we have, also followed up on some of the tips. There's 400 pros of police officers. A lot of them came to work. We didn't even know that they were working, and so it all came down to collaboration, cooperation, and that's why we're at now. So.
Can you explain to us what police are doing right now? They've got streets still blocked off. Can you explain to us what...
I'm sorry, Molly. Say that again?
Can you explain to us what police are still doing? They're blocking off streets right now. Can you kind of explain to people to stay clear of that area?
Yeah, again, we're still in the process of collecting evidence, and so we're putting it all together. Policing is very, it's a difficult job. We have to make sure that we protect due process and the integrity of the investigation, so we may collect other evidence, and that's why we're still out there. We haven't, but we're confident enough that we are able to say that we detained somebody of interest. So.
Provost Doyle, can you share if there's any updates about what's going to be happening with final exams or final projects beyond what you've already shared?
Yeah, I mentioned last night that we had canceled the finals today. There were 4 finals. We're in the process of putting together some announcements and updates with guidance for the coming week.
Chief, there's a question.
Yes.
You've been watching a press briefing in Providence, Rhode Island about the mass shooting yesterday on the campus of Brown University. There we heard from the mayor of Providence, the governor of Rhode Island, and the police chief there, Colonel Oscar Perez in Providence. Again, the headline is a suspect, a person of interest, as they're calling it, is in custody. An update on the victims, 2 dead. 7 now in stable condition, 1 in critical but stable condition, and 1 has been discharged from the hospital. Those were the 9 that we heard about that had been wounded yesterday. For more on this, let's get right to NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. He's been following the story all night. So, Tom, what more can you tell us about the alleged shooter here and how authorities caught up to him?
That's right, Willie. In the early hours this morning, the FBI was able to make an arrest along with Providence Police and other members of Rhode Island law enforcement of this individual that they're describing as a person of interest. But law enforcement officials that we've talked to, at least 3 at this hour that have been briefed on this investigation, feel fairly confident that this is the person that they're looking for and the person that's seen on that video there on the screen. Right now, no indication of any sort of potential federal charges here. That investigation can go on for excuse me, a period of time, and we'll have to wait and see where that goes. As far as potential charges they may face, will be state charges. I think that's important because there's no indication on motive at this point that this has any sort of nexus or connection to terrorism, but obviously it's still in the early stages. What we're told, Willie, is that there was a unique characteristic, something on the gun that witnesses had seen and had relayed to police in the course of their interviews. And then this morning, when this individual was taken into custody, we're told that a gun matching that description was on that person. So that's the information that I think has law enforcement getting so much confidence that they have their person, at least enough confidence to lift that shelter in place. So we'll have to continue to follow it. As they mentioned, they're going to continue their investigation. And then at some point, presumably, if this is in fact the person that they end up charging, we'll have the name and other additional information. But they do feel fairly confident this morning that this is the person that they've been looking for since this awful shooting happened approximately 4:22 yesterday evening.
Yeah, Tom, so for people just waking up to this terrible story of a mass shooting on an Ivy League campus, let's just reset a little bit. You say the active shooter alert went on the campus of Brown University 4:22 yesterday. What more do we know about what happened? We just heard the police chief, I believe, confirm, or excuse me, it was actually the president of the university confirmed that it took place in one of the classrooms where some kids were likely taking final exams. What more do we know about how this all went down?
Right. So the shots were fired. Police almost immediately were able to enter the campus as soon as they got the calls. So they immediately went to that location. And then inside, according to radio transmissions, they found several victims. There were several other gunshot wound victims, those that could walk. They were able to get out on their own feet and with police assistance outside of the building. Rhode Island, much as many other major cities and states, they have a plan in place with task force rescue medics. So those are medics that are trained to go in and help conduct, CPR or any sort of triage, and they work with police so that they're protected while they do that. This individual was not seen going into the building in the same way that they were dressed when they left. That's interesting to police. So did this person change into the black clothes? And then several witnesses, according to police at a press briefing last night, Willie, said that he may have had a camouflage mask on. So he's not seen going into the building. He is seen exiting the building, and that's the video there that we've been looking at. There are already questions in law enforcement circles as to how this building was open. Last night, police said that the building was unlocked because exams were taking place there. And so there's some serious questions in this day and age. Universities like to be be open and kind of free-flowing, let students come in and out of buildings. That's kind of their ethos. Questions, though, as to why anybody could have gotten access to this building. On the other hand, there are questions given the fact this person was in there apparently not in the same clothes that they left. Were they somebody that had a lot of familiarity with that building, if not familiarity with that particular class or school that's in there, the engineering school? So a lot of questions that are coming up, and hopefully we'll continue to get some answers throughout the morning. But it's just one of several tragic events that have occurred across the globe in the last 24 hours, and certainly the counterterrorism and intelligence community is focusing very much on the other incident that happened this morning in Bondi, Australia, and then several other arrests tied to a terrorist operation in Europe. It's been a very busy night for law enforcement.
And we'll get to that story in Bondi in just a moment. Tom, I do want to ask you, I know it's early hours to determine a motive just yet, but did that unique characteristic that you described on the weapon, does that offer anything in terms of a window into a motive?
It may not at this point, but I think it's important to note that nobody is suggesting to us that there's any sort of federal charges that are imminent. No indication from anybody we've spoken to at this very early stage of the investigation. This, of course, could change, that there's any sort of connection here to terrorism. So there is a bit of an inquiry underway as to whether or not this person had a specific connection with the school in that particular building and perhaps a program in that building. That's an avenue that police are definitely racing down at this hour. But again, still need to get some more information as the investigation unfolds.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.